Alright guys, and welcome back. So this is just going to be a quick little video I'm making at the end of my stream here. Talk about the guns in Apex Legends, kind of a tier list. There's been a lot of gun tier lists going around, so I'm just going to go ahead and get mine. Obviously, these three. Let's do this. Just call it SS. Like, Kraber's best gun in the game, Peacekeeper, and Prowler are both really stupid. I want to change some of the tiers around a little bit, so I'll kind of rename a couple of tiers. So this A is fine, and then I'm going to do A+. Do an A+ tier, have A, B tier, and then C tier. I'll leave C tier, and we'll go from there. So like obviously care package weapons. I'm just gonna go in order. I'm not gonna talk about the guns with hop ups. Like hop up guns, I'm not gonna talk about. Like the gun needs a hop up to be good. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll put the hop up on. S tier Mastiff. Mastiff is definitely an S tier weapon. The Eva and the Eva double tap are both probably A tier. They're definitely not a like the double tap is a strictly Warriors Mastiff. The Eva, like normal, has its own niche. I'll put it A tier. Okay, you know, actually, I do want just F. Just an F tier. Do like that. Normal Mozambique, absolutely F tier. Mozambique with hammer point, probably A. It's like as strong as a Mastiff, but not stronger. With an easier spread to hit. But they have to be on flesh, and that's literally half of their HP. So like against the other half of their HP, it's pointless. So yeah, A tier at best. That's kind of being generous too. Triple take S tier, best sniper in the game. Sentinel's probably A. I'm gonna give it A tier. I'm gonna put like S tier is like the best guns in the game. A+ are like really good guns that are like super close. A tier is gonna be like the guns that if you really like them, you can use. Like you can't. If you really like them, you can use. B tier is like if you really like them, I guess you can get away with them, but they're not that great. C tier is just like meh, and F tier is just like bad guns. Longbow is F tier. Longbow without skull piercers, F tier. Charge rifle with it's probably A+ or S. In terms of poking, like and defense, it's like the best sniper in the game and the best gun in the game for just like poking and defense, but it has absolutely no it has no like up close fighting capability. So, but I guess for its purpose, yeah, for its purpose, it's very very good. Longbow with skull piercer is probably B at best. Devo with nothing is awful, but Devo with turbocharger is disgusting. Havoc is probably the same thing, and then with turbo, it's probably A. L-Star is also probably A. L-Star is getting up there, but not quite close. Flatline, A+. It needs faster reload time, I think, or something, to justify using it over a Hemlock, which is A, or which is S, or a G, or like a 301, like other guns. Spitfire is C. Gun's just not good. Just don't use it. Like, just don't. These are all guns you're gonna want to drop later. If you have Skull Pierce on the Longbow, I guess it's okay. Yeah. Wingman's a. Wingman's one of these two. Because it's like really good. Is it better than the flat? Yeah, I think it's better than the flatline. I'll put Wingman S tier. It's good. You hit your shots, it's really good. G7 with G7 S tier. G7 with double tap, fucking like F. With double tap, it's probably like A tier. If you really like double tap, you can use it, but just G7 in general is really, really good. A 301 also S tier, super super good. Alternator C tier. Drop this weapon when you can. RA45 also C tier. RA45 with quick draw is also C tier. Like quick draw doesn't do enough for it. P2020 F tier, but with hammer points it's B. Wingman with skull piercer, A. Wingman with quick draw, S. Or both S. Let's just do this. Wingman all together is S. Volt absolutely S tier. R99 A tier. A+ tier. Okay, let's just look at this list together. So it's a quick little compile. Let's talk about it. F tier Mozambique P2020, they don't do anything. They literally are like punching is as effective as a Mozambique and a P2020. That's it. It's like actually like melee is just as effective in those two guns. C tier are maybe I'll put the RE45 in B. Yeah, I'll put it in B tier. I think I should put the Alternator in B tier too. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll leave it like that. Should the Spitfire go up there as well? Yeah, I think it should. B tier is like, yeah, okay. I like this a little bit more. So yeah, these two weapons are just like, they're pathetic. With no hop up, they're pathetic. Longbow is just a strictly worse sniper than every other sniper because it needs attachments while the others don't. Like you need a, I don't think you need a barrel stabilizer, but like you need a hop up for it. You just need another attachment for it to be actually like good. And I don't think Skull Piercer is even that like pivotal of a hop up for it to be like fantastic. So yeah, I'll put it barely in C tier, but like if you really like Longbow and you can hit headshots with it with Skull Piercer, then sure, I'll leave it in B tier. B tier, these are not good guns. These are like good guns. A tier is where they actually have good guns. Yeah, Longbow is just like it needs attachments for a sniper, and even with the attachments, it performs weaker than all other snipers. Literally all three other snipers. It's like dumb. Devo with no turbocharger is the slowest fucking thing in the world. It's awful, gross. Like it takes so long to shoot that thing. Havoc's kind of the same thing, although Havoc's better. Havoc could go up here. Havoc's recoil is just really bad, and like the startup time and everything. Yeah, it's just off drop. It's bad. I mean, off drop it's good, but like hold on for the game. It's just bad. It's a bad gun. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in C tier. Hammerpoint Mozambique. It's like a fucking truck on flesh only, and same with P2020 on flesh only. On shields, they're pointless. Longbow we talked about already. Kind of just like R45 is quick. Like it's really fast to use. You get full mobility. Has super tight hip fire. And it's like a smaller R99. It's a worse 99 basically. So it's a pretty good. Alternator is good for like mid range combat because it's really easy to like you get really good strength with this since it's an SMG, and it's a really easy recoil control. So like while you're waiting for a 301 or G7, you can totally hold on to an Alternator and be okay. Like okay, like up close it's kind of bad. I mean it has hip fire, has really good hip fire, which is the saving grace up close. But that's it. Spitfire is only like a long range, mid range gun. Just put like the 3 times on it and just keep shooting. Up close, it's pathetic though. All these are just like in the right scenario they can be good. Like RE45 up close can be pretty nice, like pretty clutch. P2020 hammer, all the hammer point guns are just like decent. Are like really scary if they're on flesh, but if they're not on flesh, like it's nothing. Longbow is just kind of eh. Yeah. All like one big weakness gun, or like they don't do enough in where they're good at. A tier. I'm tempted to put Sentinel higher. No, I'll leave the Sentinel there. Sentinel is good if you use shield cells, but you have to use resources for that. And it still, even wins Disruptor, I would put it, I think Disruptor Sentinel is probably A+. Yeah, A+ at best. So, it's good. It does a lot of damage. It's a Craver if you hit headshots. Like, that's scary, but I mean, it doesn't, it's not as easy and like, as polarizing, and it kind of it requires things to use. Like, it requires shield cells for it to be good. While the charge rifle literally just needs a scope, and the triple take doesn't need anything. Literally doesn't need anything. Triple take is a shotgun, so like, yeah, that's just not a good enough sniper. Evo and double tap Evo is good for like a replacement for a Mastiff while you're waiting for a Mastiff. But as soon as you find a Mastiff, just grab it. If you really like full auto shotguns, then the Evo's okay. Like it's good. It does good damage. Again, it's like you hold on to it until you find a Mastiff, but I mean, it's a fine gun. Like, it does good damage. It's like 48, 60 something on average. Should be hitting like something like a 48 to 64 damage, which is good. Especially if you have a purple bolt, which shoots really fast. Without a bolt though, if you don't have double tap, it's awful. Like, it's awful. Havoc with turbocharger, I'm pretty sure it still gets out DPS'd by like the volt, which is just sad. Or if it doesn't, like it's got such awful recoil, like awful recoil. It's just, you can't use it for like mid range the same way. It's hard to use at mid range and to use it up close, but like ARs just aren't the king of up close really. Like SMGs are always gonna be better. Like super up close are also just unmassive. So the volt's just strictly better. Also, if you have a turbocharger, just pick up the devotion. That's kind of like the whole thing with the Havoc. Like, if you really like it, like I hate the Devo, even with turbocharger, I just hate the Devo. So I would, if I had a turbocharger, I would use the Havoc, but I would still even just drop a turbocharger Havoc for a normal volt. Like, it's just not. It's too hard to control, and it doesn't like justify how its damage output enough. Yellow Star is the easy. It doesn't require anything to go, and like you literally just need energy ammo. And like it does a lot of damage, especially off drop. That thing is so strong. So like it DPS wise, it works, but like since you're an LMG, you can't move anywhere, and its damage output just isn't quite strong enough to put it up there. It's getting closer to A+. I would say like out of this whole tier, it's probably, I don't know. I think the Havoc's the worst in this whole gun tier, but it's probably up there and closer to A+. But yeah, it's still, it needs some like handling control, like maybe better hipfire, I think, and like better recoil, because the damage is there. The damage and the ammo and everything is there. It's just like it's too hard to control, and it's not really worth it to control. G7 double tap. Why would you ever use double tap? Like, why? This thing's fire rate is fine, and double tap just makes it so much slower. Like, the DPS, damage per second, is like so much faster when you just have it in single fire than double tap. Like, sure, you can get the 64 with a double tap, but like you can do 34 with a G7 and single fire, and then you can go ba 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 instead of ba 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 ba. It's like the fire just goes way too slow. If they bumped up the fire rate for double tap, then like sure, it could be okay. Like that could be like more of a burst type gun, but like also if you want to burst, just use the Hemlock. So yeah, double tap, don't use it, but like it's still a good gun. Flatline 99 are A+ because they are okay. Flatline is probably, these two guns are probably the most comparable to the 301 and the Volt, or they are the most comparable to the 301 and the Volt. Just full auto flexible guns, pretty much. The 99 performs the weakest out of all three of them from like mid range, long range. Up close, it has the best handling speed, but also like you need to hit every single bullet in the magazine to down somebody. And yeah, if you don't have like a purple mag, it's gonna be hard to down somebody who has a purple shield without any help, which is just an issue. Like it needs. I think it needs to go back to the damage it had before, which was 12 damage per bullet instead of 11. I don't think it needs a magazine increase. I think 12 is fine. I don't think a magazine increase would really make it much better in it either. I think it's the damage. It's really the damage. I'd be okay if they made it purple mag R99 is 30 bullets per mag and it does 12 damage per bullet, and they increased the recoil a little bit more, like made it kick even harder. I think that'd be fine because it's still like just straight up, which isn't the hardest thing to control. And it's not very good at long range anyways, so like it's fine if it has bad recoil. Flatline just is a little too slow. Like not necessarily the fire rate and the damage is good, but I think it's just like the handling speeds of it is too slow. I think if it had a little bit more strafing capabilities, its hipfire is really, really good. Maybe a faster reload time. Like faster ADS, faster reload time. Maybe a little bit tighter hipfire. Like a little bit tighter. Maybe a little easier to control recoil. Like tune up the recoil a little bit more. Because pretty much if you have a flatline, like it's a very, very solid gun, and if you like it and you have it, you're gonna be doing very good with it. But it's still just outperformed by like the 301 or just the Hemlock for another heavy gun. Even though like the Wingman kind of has a different purpose, but the Hemlock can serve a very similar purpose. So let's put them in A plus. Like I think they're just worse than like the Hemlock is just better than the Flatline. The 301 is just better than the both, and the Volt is just better than an R99 by like a bit. Like A plus is like still like very viable guns. Like A and above is viable guns. Everything down here are the bad guns. Don't use these guns. But you see, it's more than half the guns in the game, so that's good. Yeah. Mastiff is dumb. Triple take, yeah. Mastiff is does 104. It's also the king of 13s, but like aim ADS. Stop hip firing the gun. If you keep getting 13s, stop hip firing the gun and just aim down sight. It helps, clearly. Just put the HCOG 1 times on it and just aim down sights. You know what I mean? Don't even need the sights. Like the iron sights are amazing. Yeah, just aim down sights. If you keep hitting 13s, aim down sights. It helps you. It chokes the spread. When you aim down sight, it chokes the spread. But yeah, that gun's stupid. It's the king of up close. Literally, it's the best gun up close in the game. Like it's kind of uncontested. Gibby in a Gibby dome shooter with Mastiff is like it's the scariest fight in the game. Triple take is so good. It just does so much damage. It's so versatile because you can use it up close with the fire rate and even the spread. Like you can hip fire it. It just does a lot of damage. Like off the drop, it's really powerful, and if you keep it throughout the game, it's just such a good like poking tool. Kind of like an alternate to the charge rifle and the G7, like the Hemlock. Like you can use triple take too. It's just really versatile. It's such a flexible sniper, and it does so much damage. Triple take or charge rifle, I pretty much talked about. It only has long range game, like mid range and long range. It doesn't have anything close range. Like you don't have another gun when you're close range with the charge rifle. You have whatever your primary is, and that's it. So, but I mean, it does a lot of damage, and it's really good for leveling up your Evo shield and like just poking people off roof. Like in comp, it sees a lot of play. I think of like Ice Shiny on Complexity. He used it. He's just sitting back with Gibby's gun shield up at the charge rifle and was poking people away, doing massive damage to them because doing like 70 to 90 every single time he fired that thing. It burns through ammo like crazy, but yeah, it just does a lot of damage. It's not really like you're not really gonna knock people though, so don't expect to get a lot of kills with the charge rifle, but you expect to get a lot of damage. Devotion, its handling sucks. Its recoil sucks. It's yeah, you can't like move with it. And the hip fire is like okay, but god damn, does that thing just melt? Like it's so disgusting. It just tears you apart. Like actually, just tears you apart. With turbocharger and it shoots fire like that. It's so fast. It's so scary. It just literally just murders you. It's the strongest gun in the game. But like the mobility is the only thing that holds it back from like SS tier. Hemlock and G7 are pretty much the same thing. Hemlock does a lot of damage, has very good hip fire, so you can use it up close if you have to. The burst can do a lot, especially if you hit like one headshot. It's like 68 if you connect all 3 bullets of the burst, which the recoil is really easy to control. Put it 2 times, put it 3 times on it, and you just burst people down. It's so good long range, mid range, and it's effective close range. It's very versatile. It does so much damage. I wasn't a believer in this gun until I started like using I was like, I think the Hemlock's like okay, and then I started using it more, and now every single time I'm Gibby, I always rock a Hemlock Mastiff. Like that's I think the most broken loadout is a Gibraltar with a Hemlock and a Mastiff is the most broken loadout in the game. Yeah, it's just really flexible. Like, it's a good pair it with some other gun like the Mastiff or the 9.9 or even the Flatline for up close, and then just let that thing go off. Especially on Olympus, it's a monster. Wingman, if you hit your shots, doesn't matter what hop up you have, it'll help you hit. Yeah, the Wingman, if you hit your shots, it's so good. It does so much damage. 45, and it's got a fast fire rate. It's got amazing handling speed, so really easy to strafe. If you put the quick draw on, the hip fire is a little bit easier, so you can equip it again really quickly. So if you have to reload your primary gun, whip it out really quick, with the quick draw and just start hip firing. Otherwise, I think Skull Pierce is a little bit better. So when you hit the headshots from like range, they just do. You can 2-shot people with it. 2-shot 2-shot and leave them at either 1 HP or dead. yeah, with hop up, without the hop ups like help it a little bit, but even without the hop ups, it's just such a good gun if you hit your shots. It's the highest skill cap gun in the game though, without a doubt. G7, same thing as the Hemlock. It's just murders, long range, mid range, close range. It's very bad. Like it's very bad to close range, but like it's pretty much the king of competitive because it's just so good at poking people from a distance, and then you run in with your Mastiff. Like Gibraltar with G7 is just as good as Gibraltar with Hemlock. Like it's such a gross gun. It's so easy to kill people from a distance with it. It's such an easy gun. It's such a good gun. It just needs a sight. It doesn't even need a mag. Like put a white mag on it, and you go from 10 bullets to 15 bullets in the mag. It's gross. It's gross. Double tap is shit. Don't use double tap. Literally just leave it how it is. You don't really need a barrel stabilizer too, because it's like a single fire. Yeah, super good. 301 and Volt. I'm just gonna talk about them together. They're both just super versatile. Really easy to control recoil. Put it 2 times on them. They rock mid range. The 301's gonna be a little better like long range, while the Volt is better close range. But they both have like the 301 still works very well close range too. Its hip fire is great. Like it's got really great hip fire. So yeah, just use those 2 guns. Pair it with another gun for like up close. Like maybe pair it with a Wingman. Pair it with a Mastiff. 301 99, Volt 99. You can also use the Volt for like up close and have a long range gun, like a Volt G7 can work out. Even Volt 301 together is really good. Yeah, they're just so flexible. They're the 2 most flexible guns in the game. And it's like 99 and Flatline are both very flexible as well, but yeah, those 2 are just way more flexible. So, and then the care package weapons are broken. Craver is broken, Peacekeeper is broken, and then Prowler is broken. Yeah, I like this list. This is gonna be my little gun tier list. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I know it was kind of quick and cluttered, like I didn't really have my thoughts. I didn't like script this or anything. Just want to do it at the end of my stream, but yeah, this is gun tier list. I like to rock these 2 up close. 301, I use the Volt sometimes. I use the G7 occasionally. I like the Wingman, I like the Hemlock. I don't ever touch Devotion. I don't ever really touch Snipers. If I do, I pick up the Triple Take. I use Mastiff all the time. I don't really use any of these guns. Yeah, I don't use anything else, so usually I'll take an even until I find a Mastiff, but it's usually 99 Flatline, 301 Volt for primary, or Hemlock for primary, and then secondary is some kind of combo of maybe G7. G7 I'll probably use the least, and G7 Triple Take I use the least amount for secondary. I usually have a Mastiff, or usually I run a Wingman, something like that. And yeah, these care package weapons are broken. So yeah, hopefully you guys liked the video. Quick little clutter thoughts. But yeah, this is what everything from A tier and above is what you should be using this season. Even A tier, like if you just want to pick up the best guns in the game, just A plus and up. Really just use these. Like there's so many guns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 guns. 1, 2, 3, 4. 12 guns. Yeah, there's 12 guns that you should be using out of the whole list of guns, and like a lot of these are hop-ups. So yeah. But yeah, this is meta weapons for Apex Legends.